topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Powerful Business Strategies, where you will find out that everything you have ever learned about growing your business is wrong. Finally, a show where you'll learn the right way to grow your business by learning business and financial strategies that your competition isn't doing. And now, here is your host, President of Next Step CFO, Michael Barbarita. And joining Michael for today's show as an executive moderator is Chuki Obiyo.
Yes, this is Chuki, and I believe that gratitude is undefeated and growth is about the next step. It is truly an honor for me to moderate today's discussion with my good friend, Michael. Michael, how are you?
Welcome back, Chuki. Welcome back. You know, I knew you'd come back in time to celebrate Liberation Day this Wednesday.
Love it. Yeah, it's all about liberation for business owners. How about that?
That's right. There you go. And as Chuki said, my name is Michael Barbarita, president of Next Step CFO. And Next Step CFO is a fractional CFO and strategic implementation firm. And business owners hire us to double and triple their profit using business and financial strategies that their competition isn't doing. And our vision is to ensure that overwhelmed business owners achieve the time freedom, which we're going to talk about today, and consistent profits to build a legacy and the life they desire. Our mission is simple. It's dedicated to guiding small business owners to leveraging their time, exploiting their profits, and building a meaningful legacy. You know, the show Powerful Business Strategies in our book of the same name is a step toward accomplishing that vision and mission. So with that, I'd like to hand it back to my co-author and moderator for the show, Chuki Obiyo.
Michael, I've got to say, I'm particularly energized by today's episode, The Business Owner's Time Revolution. How to work half as much and get twice the results. Now, that's an equation, Michael, that we can get behind, right?
Absolutely. My God.
Absolutely. Yes. So look, a quick disclaimer before we jump in. Michael and I are both affiliated with a number of different organizations, and I currently serve as a managing director of business development for Vedder Price, a global business-focused law firm. In addition to that, I collaborate with Michael to moderate business roundtables and document powerful insights from those roundtables as part of our book, Powerful Business Strategies. But please note that the views expressed on this show are our personal views based on those success stories from the roundtables and interactions with business owners. And my mission as the fearless moderator today is just to ask the right questions to help you, the listener, learn the best business strategies that the competition isn't doing. Back over to Michael.
Thank you, Chuki. So here's something that I'd like to share that I've announced before. And so if you have a business problem that you'd like us to answer, or a business question, or even a strategy that you'd like to ask about, please email us at ask@nextstepcfo.net. That's ask@nextstepcfo.net. It doesn't matter what the business problem is or the question, and we'll answer it for you. There are a couple things that we ask. Number one, please state whether it is something we can answer on the air or if it's confidential. And of course, if it's confidential, we won't put it on the air. And number two, please provide your phone number, because business problems can become a little involved and complex, and we might need a little bit more context or clarity. So that email address again is ask@nextstepcfo.net. And I also want to point out that we've had some questions, but they have requested confidentiality, which of course we will always honor. And so I'd like to say, I always start the show with some type of inspiration. At least I hope it is. Business owners, I see the long hours. I see the sacrifices, the weight of responsibility that you carry. While large corporations have teams of specialists for every function under the sun, you're wearing multiple hats. CEO, sales director, operations manager, and sometimes even the person answering the phones or sweeping the floors. But here's what I'd like you to know. Your size isn't a disadvantage.
Yes.
It's your superpower. You can pivot faster, you can build relationships better, and implement innovative strategies without navigating layers of corporate bureaucracy. The strategies that we share on this show aren't just theoretical concepts. They're battle-tested approaches that level the playing field. And we believe that strategic thinking and financial mastery shouldn't be reserved for business owners with massive resources. That's exactly why Chuki and I wrote Powerful Business Strategies, and exactly why we do this show. So today, we're just sharing tools that create small businesses into mighty competitors. And your passion, your commitment, combined with these strategies, creates an unstoppable force. So let's harness that power and revolutionize your business starting right now.
Absolutely.
So business owners, take a moment and ask yourself, did you start your business to work more hours than you ever did as an employee? Did you start your business to miss your kids' games and recitals? To be exhausted at the end of the day, that you have nothing left for your family or yourself? Of course you didn't. You started your business to gain freedom, both time freedom and financial freedom. Yet for most entrepreneurs, that dream has morphed into a reality where you're working harder than ever. You're experiencing more stress than ever, and ironically, have less time freedom than your own employees. Today, we're changing that. I'm going to share the exact strategies that the most successful businesses use to work half as much while getting twice the results. Your business should serve your life, not consume it. So let's start your time revolution today. And let me start with a stark reality. I mean, according to a recent survey, the average business owner works 52 hours a week, with nearly 25% of those business owners working more than 60 hours. That's 50% more than the average employee works. And yet, studies show that productivity sharply declines after 50 hours, with almost no additional output after 55 hours. So in other words, most business owners are working themselves to exhaustion for diminishing returns. They're trapped in what I call the time effort paradox. It's the false belief that working more hours equals more success. I experienced this firsthand with my own business. Believe me, I understand this, and I need to listen to my own advice. I'm working 70 plus hours a week, and time is the only true resource that we have. You know, you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. And if your business requires that constant presence to succeed, you don't own a business, you own a job. The realization has led me to develop that what I call the time revolution formula. This is a systematic approach to reclaiming your time while improving your business results. And it starts with a fundamental mindset shift. You see, most business owners operate from a time for money mentality. They believe that their value comes from the hours they put in. But truly, successful entrepreneurs understand that their value comes from the results they create, not the time they spend. You got to think about it this way. If you can achieve the same or better results at half the time, why wouldn't you? I mean, the problem is that most of us just don't know how to make that happen. We're trapped in outdated patterns of work that keep us busy, but not necessarily productive. So the time revolution formula breaks this pattern by focusing on three core principles. First, leverage. This means getting disproportionate results from your time investment. True leverage allows 1 hour of work to produce 5 to 10 hours of results. Second is elimination. This means ruthlessly removing activities that don't contribute meaningfully in any kind of meaningful way and any kind of meaningful value to your business. Most entrepreneurs spend at least 40% of their time on tasks that could be completely eliminated. The third is automation. This means creating systems that generate results without your ongoing involvement. A truly successful business continues to operate whether you're there or not. And by the way, part of that automation today is in fact utilizing artificial intelligence. And so when you apply these three principles across business, something really magical happens. You start working less while achieving more. Your stress levels decrease while your profitability increases. And perhaps most importantly, you reclaim the freedom that inspired you to start your business in the first place. So throughout today's show, I'll walk you through exactly how to apply these principles to transform your relationship with time and your business. And we'll uncover the invisible traps that are keeping you chained to your business. And I'll share specific strategies to break free from those traps once and for all. And there's a question. Hold on a second. There's a question from the audience. You mentioned that most business owners spend at least 40% of their time on tasks that could be eliminated entirely. That's right. Can you give us a specific example of what those activities might be? Well, let me see. Well, one of the biggest time wasters that I see across nearly every business is what I call reactive management. This is when business owners spend hours each day putting out fires, responding to non-urgent emails, and handling issues that someone else on the team could address. For example, I worked with a general contractor who was spending 3 to 4 hours every day answering basic customer questions and fielding routine service requests. And when we analyzed these interactions, we discovered that over 80% of them followed predictable patterns that could be handled by a customer service script. I mean, we created a simple decision tree. It was like an outline for his office manager to handle these requests. And suddenly, this owner reclaimed 15 to 20 hours a week, time he now uses to focus on high-value business development activities that only he can do. And the key insight is that many business owners confuse being needed with adding value. Just because someone needs your input doesn't mean you're the only one who could provide that input. So by creating systems and empowering your team, you can eliminate those time-consuming, low-value activities while actually improving the customer experience, because it's just not a one-man band. Okay, so let's dive deeper into the first principle of the time revolution formula that we talked about, and that's leverage. So leverage is about multiplying the impact of your time. It's the difference between using a shovel and using a bulldozer. Both can move dirt, but the bulldozer creates dramatically more impact per hour of effort. You see, in business, there are 5 primary forms of leverage available to every business owner, regardless of your industry. The first is people leverage. That means building a team that can produce results without your constant involvement. Most business owners make the critical mistake of hiring for tasks rather than outcomes. When you hire someone to handle bookkeeping tasks, you still need to manage them. But when you hire someone to deliver the outcome of accurate, timely financial reporting, that's when you create that true leverage. The key to people leverage is what I call the train and trust model. You see, most entrepreneurs either undertrain their team and then micromanage them, or they undertrain them and just hope for the best. Both approaches destroy the leverage or reduce the impact of the leverage substantially. Instead, you should invest heavily in front-loading training and creating clear success metrics, and then step back and trust your team to deliver the results. This creates a virtuous cycle where your team becomes more capable over time, requiring less of your involvement. The second form of leverage is systems leverage. This means creating documented processes that produce consistent results regardless of who follows them. The most valuable asset in your business isn't your client list or your equipment. It's your systems. So effective systems transform and change tribal knowledge. And tribal knowledge is like information stored in people's heads. And it transforms that tribal knowledge into organizational knowledge, which is information available to everyone. And this creates tremendous leverage because the system can be executed by multiple people across your organization. So to give you an example, a commercial cleaning company was completely dependent on the owner for client walkthroughs and quality inspections. And by creating a detailed walkthrough system with photos and videos and checklists, they were able to train their supervisors to handle these inspections with the same attention to detail as the owner, and I bet even more. And this freed up 15 hours per week of the owner's time, allowing him to focus on what? High-value activities like strategic growth initiatives. The third form of leverage is technology leverage. This means using software and tools to automate repetitive tasks and decision-making. The right technology can literally work for you 24/7 without breaks, without complaints or vacations. You know, here's an example. A landscaping company was spending 10 plus hours weekly creating custom proposals for potential customers, and he implemented software with pre-built templates and an integration to their CRM. Now, proposals that used to take an hour just take 10 minutes, and the quality and consistency have actually improved. Now, the fourth form of leverage is financial leverage. This means using other people's money, resources, or assets to accelerate your results. Many business owners limit their growth by using their own capital and resources. Strategic partnerships, vendor financing, revenue sharing agreements, and other creative financial structures can dramatically accelerate your growth without requiring your own personal time investment.
Interesting.
For example, a retail store owner wanted to expand to a second location, but didn't have the capital. Instead of taking on this debt, they created a revenue sharing partnership with a complementary business. This partner provided the space and some starting inventory in exchange for a percentage of sales. And the result was a second location that required a minimal capital investment and about a third of the time it would take to have actually launched it independently. And the fifth and final form of leverage is knowledge leverage. This means learning from others' experiences rather than relying solely on your own trial and error, because every problem you're facing in business has been solved by someone else already. Mastermind groups, business consultants and coaches, industry associations, and even books like Powerful Business Strategies are forms of knowledge leverage. They allow you to compress years of learning into months or even weeks. Now, let's talk about how to apply these forms of leverage in your business. It starts with a simple but powerful exercise I call time value analysis. So first, track all your activities for 1 week, noting exactly how you spend each hour. And be brutally honest with yourself, by the way, because no one else needs to see this. Categorize each activity as either $10 an hour work, $100 an hour work, or $1,000 an hour work, or even $10,000 an hour work. And this categorization isn't about what you'd pay someone else to do. It's about the actual value that the activity generates for your business.
Interesting.
Today. So $10 an hour activities are routine tasks that must be done, but don't directly generate value. Like, for example, the basic bookkeeping I talked about earlier, or order processing. $100 an hour activities contribute to business operations and may indirectly generate revenue, like team management or systems improvement. $1,000 per hour activities directly impact revenue or profitability, like sales calls with qualified prospects or strategic planning. $10,000 an hour activities are the true points of leverage that can just really exponentially grow a business, like developing a new product line or creating strategic partnerships. So after doing this, most business owners are shocked to discover that they spend 70 to 80% of their time on $10 an hour and $100 hour activities, and less than 5% on $10,000 activities.
Wow.
It's amazing. So the time revolution begins when you commit to eliminating, delegating, or automating anything that isn't $1,000 or $10,000 an hour work for you personally. This single shift can transform your productivity and reclaim 20 to 30 hours of your week.
Michael, it's interesting, right? And as you know, as part of our experience with the show, we have a number of business owners that tune in, and folks are very participative. You know, they're sending questions, sending comments. I've actually got to share a consolidation of some comments with you here as a question. So, Michael, some business owners might say they can't afford to hire people to handle the $10 an hour or even the $100 an hour tasks and action items. How would you address that concern?
That's excellent. Well, it actually speaks to one of the most common misconceptions about delegation. The truth is, you can't afford not to delegate these tasks. Let me explain. I hope this is simple math. So let's say your business generates $300,000 in annual revenue, which means your time as the business owner is worth about $150 an hour, assuming a 2,000 hour a work week. And if you're spending 25 hours a week on $10 an hour and $100 an hour tasks, you're effectively losing between $1,250 and $3,500 weekly in opportunity costs. And when you frame it in this way, hiring somebody at $20 to $25 an hour to handle these tasks becomes an obvious investment, not an expense. Even if you only delegate 10 hours weekly initially, that's 10 more hours that you can dedicate to high value activities that actually grow the business. But let me also address the deeper issue here, because many business owners claim that they can't afford to delegate.
Yes.
But the real issue is they just haven't created the systems that allow for effective delegation. Because without clear processes and success metrics, delegation feels risky and often fails. So the solution is to start small, identify one routine task that consumes 2 to 3 hours weekly, document exactly how you do it, including decision points and quality standards, and then find someone, could be a part-time assistant or a virtual assistant, for a few hours weekly to handle just this task. Once that's working smoothly, go to the next one. This incremental approach allows you to build your delegation muscle without overcommitting financially. So within 3 to 6 months, you've systemized and delegated enough $10 and $100 an hour work to fundamentally change how you spend your time. And remember, the goal isn't to hire people to do everything at once. It's to systematically free yourself from low-value work so you can focus on the activities that truly drive your business forward.
And Michael, I want to pick up on that point. We actually have a question from a listener. So you've mentioned the 5 forms of leverage, but which one, based on your experience, do you find most business owners either neglect or underutilize?
Yeah. Well, without question, it's systems leverage, because it's just most entrepreneurs intuitively understand the value of hiring good people or investing in technology, at least intuitively, but creating documented, repeatable systems often feels tedious or unnecessary until it becomes absolutely critical. And the E-Myth, that book called The E-Myth, tells you all you need to know about the importance of systems. And by the way, here's a little nugget and a little tip that can go a long way. Start using AI to create your systems. So that's really important, because the reality is, without systems, your business completely depends on you or specific team members, which creates enormous vulnerability. If you or a key employee gets sick, goes on vacation, leaves the company, the business suffers right away. And moreover, a lack of systems creates what I call decision fatigue, because when there's no standard process for handling common situations, every instance requires somebody to make a new decision. And most employees are afraid to make decisions. So you can figure out, see what happens then. And this is incredibly draining for business owners and significantly limits their ability to focus on strategic activities, which is what you and I, Chuki, wants them to focus on. We want them to focus on strategic activities. And strategic activities, for example, like the 7-step pathway to profit formula that we did a show about. And so the good news is that creating effective systems doesn't have to be overwhelming. Just start with your most common repetitive process and the ones that you find yourself doing or explaining over and over again, and document each step, noting decision points and quality standards. Use video, audio, or written formats, whatever works best for you and your team. But remember, also use AI as an assistant for this. It'll cut your time and your perception of how difficult system creation is in an unimaginary way. And so then test the system by having someone follow it exactly as documented, refine it based on their feedback and results. And once it's working consistently, you've created a valuable business asset that'll generate returns indefinitely. And so remember, the goal of systems isn't rigidity, it's freedom.
Absolutely.
Good systems free you from routine decisions and actions while ensuring consistent quality. They're the foundation of a business that can operate without your constant presence.
It's interesting, Michael. Good systems lead to that liberation that you talked about, right, for Liberation Day. So that's remarkable. We've got a question here from a business owner. So, Michael, you've talked about identifying $10,000 an hour activities that can exponentially grow a business. Could you give us some examples, specific examples of what some of these might look like, particularly across multiple industries?
Yeah, let's see. Well, for service businesses like consultants, lawyers, or accountants, $10,000 an hour activities, include things like creating intellectual property that can be leveraged across multiple clients, or developing premium service offerings with significantly higher profit margins, and building strategic referral partnerships with complementary professionals who serve the same client base. For retail or e-commerce businesses, $10,000 activities could include negotiating exclusive product lines that differentiate you from your competitors. It could include developing automated marketing funnels that consistently convert browsers to buyers and create customer retention programs that increase lifetime value. For construction or trades businesses, $10,000 an hour activities include creating estimation systems that improve profit margins on every project, developing recurring maintenance programs that generate predictable monthly revenue, and building relationships with developers and general contractors who can provide consistent large-scale work. Even for manufacturers, $10,000 activities include streamlining production processes to reduce the cost while maintaining quality, developing new product lines with higher margins, and creating distribution partnerships that open new markets without significant overhead. So regardless of the industries, strategic planning is always a $10,000 hour activity. And most business owners get so caught up in the day-to-day operations, they never step back to work on their business rather than in it. And yet, a single day of focused strategic planning can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional profit over the following year. And the key to identifying your personal $10,000 per hour activity is to ask yourself this question: what could I do today that would continue generating results for years with no additional time investment from me? Those are your true leverage points. So before we continue our discussion, let's take a 90-second break.
Hey there, business owners. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of blending in with your competitors? Frustrated with slow growth and slim margins? Well, I've got news for you. Everything you've ever learned about growing your business is wrong. But don't worry. I'm here to let you in on a secret weapon: your position of market dominance. It's what sets you apart, makes you irreplaceable, and has customers lining up at your door. My name is Michael Barbarita from Next Step CFO. I know what you're thinking. Sounds great, Michael, but how do I find my position of market dominance? Well, that's exactly why we've created our game-changing implementation program called Next Step to Market Dominance. In just 90 days, we'll guide you step by step to a position of market dominance by uncovering your unique strengths that competitors can't touch, by crafting a message that resonates deeply with your ideal customer, by building a strategy that turns you into the go-to expert in your field. Now, this isn't theory. These are battle-tested strategies that have helped businesses like yours double, triple, and quadruple their revenue. Don't let another quarter go by struggling to stand out. It's time to dominate your market, period. Go to nextstepcfo.net/contact, fill out the form, and in the message section, put the word dominate. Or call us at 781-326-3822. That's nextstepcfo.net/contact, or call us at 781-326-3822.
So welcome back. And remember, you can always catch the replay of any of our shows at powerfulbusinessstrategies.com. So let's explore the second principle of the time revolution formula, which we call is even more powerful than delegation because it completely removes tasks from your business rather than just shifting them to someone else. And as management expert Peter Drucker famously said, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. And so in our experience working with hundreds of business owners, there are 5 major categories of activities that can be eliminated from most businesses with zero negative impact on results. And so the first category is what I call perfection tasks. And these are activities that you're investing time to move from good enough to perfect, but the additional quality isn't valued by customers. It doesn't impact outcomes. For example, an interior designer. This particular interior designer was spending 5 to 7 hours creating elaborate presentation boards for their initial client consultations. And when she surveyed her clients, she discovered that they valued her ideas and expertise and not the presentation format. And so by switching to digital mood boards that took only 90 minutes to create, she saved over 20 hours monthly with no impact on her closing rate. So you got to ask yourself, where am I investing time in perfection that doesn't actually matter to my customers or improve my results? The second category is low probability opportunities. And these are activities that have a theoretical payoff, but a very low probability of success based on your specific situation. And we see this frequently with networking events and certain marketing activities and pursuing clients that don't match your ideal customer profile. Business owners often continue these activities out of habit or hope rather than evidence of results. A business owner was spending 8 hours monthly attending a networking group that had actually generated zero business over a year. So by eliminating this single activity, he reclaimed a full day each month that he now uses for other high impact marketing activities. So ask yourself, what activities am I continuing despite little or no evidence that they're generating results? And the third category is unnecessary reports and meetings. And these are information sharing activities that consume time without driving decisions or actions. You see, in our experience, at least 50% of recurring meetings in most businesses can be eliminated or drastically shortened with no negative impact. Similarly, many reports are created out of habit rather than necessity. So a manufacturing company was having daily 30-minute production meetings with their entire team by creating a simple dashboard that tracked key metrics in real time. And they were able to reduce meetings to twice a week for just 15 minutes, saving 2 hours a week for everyone involved while improving information flow. So ask yourself, what meetings or reports exist in my business that don't directly lead to better decisions or actions? And then the fourth category is manual processes that could be automated. And these are repetitive tasks that technology can handle more efficiently. And this includes everything from appointment scheduling and follow-up emails to invoicing and payment processing. You know, modern software can automate these processes at a fraction of the cost of human time. And so that you really need to take a look at that and ask yourself, what repetitive, predictable processes am I or my team handling manually that could be automated. And then the fifth and final category is misaligned clients, which are customers who consume disproportionate time and energy relative to their value to their business. I mean, you know the ones I'm talking about. They call constantly with minor issues. They haggle over every invoice. They pay late and generally make your life miserable. And what many business owners don't realize is that these clients not only consume your time, but they drain your energy and prevent you from serving your best clients optimally. And so ask yourself this question: which clients consistently require more time and energy than they're worth? And would you rather have those? I mean, would you rather have and continue to service those the clients that exhaust you, or let your competitors have them? I always ask that question to my clients.
Yeah.
Competitors had those lousy. So the elimination starts with a simple but powerful exercise I call the stop doing list. So take out a sheet of paper, write down 10 activities you'll stop doing entirely. Be specific. Instead of just writing stop wasting time, right? Stop attending the Thursday morning networking meeting, or stop personally handling customer service emails. And this exercise forces you to make concrete decisions about elimination rather than vague comments. Once you have your list, communicate the necessary changes to your team and clients, and then stick to your commitments. The immediate impact of elimination is just, it's often even more powerful than delegation because, well, it creates space in your calendar and your mind without requiring any additional systems or cost.
Michael, look, I think you are inspiring a number of business leaders and owners with this concept of elimination, right? I mean, stuff is remarkable. The idea of eliminating misaligned clients really resonates, right? But many business owners are, in all honesty, afraid to let any client go without that kind of engagement, right? And especially in uncertain economic times. How do you advise business owners to overcome this fear?
Well, that's a great question, Chuki, because it gets to the heart of the scarcity mindset that keeps many business owners trapped in unfulfilling client relationships. And the scarcity mindset is something we talked about when we talked about preparing for an economic downturn. Yeah. The key is to approach this systematically rather than emotionally. And you have to start by conducting a thorough analysis of your client base and plot each client on a chart with two axes. Axis number one is profitability. How much money do they generate relative to resources they consume? And the second axis is alignment. How well they match your ideal client profile and value. And this analysis often leads to surprising insights. Clients you thought were valuable might actually be barely profitable than you account for all the time. That when you account for all the time and resources that they consume. And then conversely, quieter clients who rarely demand attention might be your most profitable relationships. And once you have this data, make decisions based on facts rather than fears for clients in the bottom left quadrant. That's low profitability, low alignment, and develop a transition plan. And this doesn't mean abruptly ending relationships. It means thoughtfully moving these clients to providers who might serve them better. And start with candid conversations. I've been reflecting on our work together. I feel you might be better served by a provider who specializes more precisely in what you need, and the other specific recommendations for alternative. I offer specific recommendations for alternative providers. And for clients who are profitable but misaligned, or aligned but unprofitable, consider adjusting your service model or pricing to improve the relationship. Sometimes a 15 or 20% increase or a modified service scope can change a challenging client into a more valuable one. And the fear of letting clients go often stems from the belief that you can't replace them. But here is the reality. The time and energy you reclaim by transitioning misaligned clients can be reinvested in acquiring the ideal clients who are more profitable and more enjoyable to serve.
That's a good point.
Chuki, do we have a question from a listener?
We actually do, right? I mean, Michael, look, your insights today are really reverberating. So here's a question. What's the biggest mistake you see business owners make when trying to reclaim their time?
Well, business owners actually tell me that things are crazy right now. I mean, I would say that the biggest mistake that I see is the belief that somehow next week or next month will be different from the current one without making structural changes to how this works. They'll say that things are crazy, but without implementing the principles that we're discussing today, that magical period of more time never comes. It never arrives. There's always another project, another crisis, another opportunity that consumes every available minute. The reality is that your calendar will always fill to capacity unless you create structural boundaries and systems to protect your time. This requires hard decisions about what deserves your attention and what doesn't.
Yeah.
The solution is proactively blocking time for your highest value activities before anything else can claim that valuable time. So start by scheduling blocks for strategic work, business development, and personal renewal. Make these appointments with yourself as non-negotiable as you would with your most important clients. Meetings with them. Then allow other activities to fill in around these protected blocks, not the other way around. So, Chuki, can we jump to compliments as we seem to be running out of time?
Absolutely, we can. And Michael, look, it's really interesting, this compliments segment, because we have a number of business owners that we are energized to spotlight. So 4 compliments today. First, compliments to Gary Agajanian, the founder and CEO of Agajanian Incorporated. Gary is recognized as the greatest wine negotiant in the world. He graduated from the School of Agricultural Business at California State University, Fresno. And he grew up, Michael, on the family vineyard in California. I mean, he's got decades of experience with his own agricultural operation. And he began making wine in 1998. In fact, the business, Michael, traces its roots all the way back to 1922 when Gary's grandfather planted 40 acres with wine grapes and raisin grapes. Look, Gary and his team have a world-class quality service, a certain je ne sais quoi, Michael, that they bring to every customer interaction. You can learn more about this great company at agajanian.com. Again, that's agajanian.com. Second compliments, Christopher Ryan, who's the managing partner at DSR CPA. That's D for Donovan, S for Sullivan, R for Ryan. Christopher has 15 plus years of experience in accounting, and he serves a wide range of clients, including small businesses, well-established companies, insurance agencies, professional services firms, high net worth individuals and families. Part of what makes Christopher and his team so special, Michael, is their values. They've got this PRQ commitment. P for professionalism, R for responsiveness, Q for quality. You can visit the team today at dsrcpa.com. Third compliment, compliments to Lars Bo Lauritsen, Thomas Lauritsen, and Niels Lauritsen. They are the principals of Unmute. This is a Denmark-based company with a U.S. subsidiary. Unmute frames provide an experience that is incomparably brilliant, Michael. They have unique pieces of artwork that they put up on your wall, and these frames are embedded with sound. You just press the frame, and Unmute comes to life, bringing a rich, vibrant sound into the space for your home or your business. This is such an awesome experience. Check these folks out at unmuteframes.us. Final compliment. This goes out to Mike Bogart, the founder and owner of the Bogart Finish. Mike has spent decades cultivating his craft in high-end custom home construction, and renovation. Mike has a true passion, not only for how things are built, but how things are built to last, Michael. In 2007, Mike founded the Bogart Finish. This is a company that truly connects the commitment to craftsmanship, client trust, and project management with a quality service and care for every single client mindset. You can find out more about the good work Mike and team are doing at thebogartfinish.com. Michael, back over to you.
Thank you, Chuki. I love these compliments. So now let's explore the third principle of the time revolution formula called automation. And unfortunately, because of time, I'm going to have to go very, very quickly through this. But automation is about creating systems that generate results without your ongoing involvement. You know, it's the closest thing to business magic, setting up processes that continue working for you 24/7, whether you're at the office or on vacation or sleeping. And in today's digital economy, automation opportunities exist for businesses of all sizes and across all industries. And you don't need a massive technology budget or a team of engineers. You just need to identify the right automation opportunities and implement them strategically. And what we found is there are 5 primary categories of automation that reclaim your time. The first is marketing automation. This includes everything from email sequences and social media scheduling to actual lead nurturing and customer onboarding. The second category is sales automation. This includes proposal generation, appointment scheduling, contract creation, and payment processing. The third category is operations automation. This includes inventory management, workflow coordination, quality control checks, and data entry. A manufacturing company implemented this exact system and with barcode scanning and inventory management software that automatically tracks materials usage and reorders supplies when they reach these certain thresholds. And this eliminated weekly manual inventory counts, emergency supply runs, and it saved 6 to 7 hours weekly. And it actually also reduced stockouts by 92%.
Wow.
The fourth category is financial automation. This includes invoicing, expense tracking, financial reporting, and collections. And the fifth category is customer service automation. This includes frequently asked questions systems, supporting ticket routing, satisfaction surveys, and review generation. And let's see. And let me explain that. Moreover, automated systems can operate at scale that would be impossible manually. And once again, please consider using AI. There are some great AI tools that can help you with creating these automated systems. And they can send personalized messages to thousands of customers simultaneously, monitored across multiple locations in real time, or analyze data points that would take humans weeks to process. And the key insight about automation is that it's most powerful when it handles routine tasks while freeing humans to focus on high-value activities that require creativity, judgment, and personal connection. And the goal isn't just to automate everything. It's to automate what should be automated so that you and your team can focus on what shouldn't be.
Brilliant.
Chuki, is there a question from the audience?
I think we captured it all.
Okay.
Michael. And look, I mean, this thing was such a resonant episode. We may have to extend this out in a future episode.
We might. Well, as we wrap up today's episode on the business owner's time revolution, let me summarize the key insights that we covered. We introduced the time revolution formula based on 3 core principles. First, leverage. Is leveraging, and that's getting disproportionate results from your technology, financial resources, and knowledge. And remember that time value analysis to identify that $10 an hour, $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour, and $10,000 an hour activities. Because your goal is to focus exclusively on the highest value activities while leveraging other resources for everything else. And second is elimination. So that's removing unnecessary activities from your business entirely. We identified 5 major categories that can be eliminated. Perfection tasks. Second is low probability opportunities. Third is unnecessary reports and meetings. Fourth is manual processes that could be automated. And then finally, we talked about misaligned clients. And remember to create your stop doing list to make concrete elimination decisions. And then third is automation. Create systems that actually generate results without your ongoing involvement. We explored 5 categories. And that was marketing, sales, operations, financial, and customer service. And remember, the automation roadmap. Identify repetitive processes, document current workflows, evaluate automation options, implement and test in parallel, and then refine and expand. To get a copy of the book, Powerful Business Strategies, simply go to our website, www.nextstepcfo.net. It's totally complimentary. And until next Monday at noon Eastern Time, for Chuki Obiyo, my name is Michael Barbarita, and remember, don't keep doing what your competition is doing.
You have been listening to Powerful Business Strategies, finding out that everything you ever learned about growing your business is wrong. Tune in next week and every week at noon Eastern Time on W4CY Radio with your host, Michael Barbarita of Next Step CFO and moderator Chuki Obiyo.